Complexity is core here.
Mm-hmm.
I also think we want to make sure we separate the concept of, is there project management happening in some capacity, from, is there somebody running around with the title project manager doing that work, right? Because one of the shifts we have seen in Agile is that, especially in Scrum, you have things like the Scrum Master, and one of the things they were doing there is driving some of the accountability for what we traditionally thought of the detailed project management, right? The team level and individual project management, driving that into the team, right? Sprint planning is a form of project planning. If you think of a rolling wave planning that we used to talk about a long time ago, we talk about different levels of planning at different horizons. So that short-term planning, that's sprint planning. Our daily, every day is another form of project management. We are doing our coordination. We are checking in. We are also seeing if anything is off track. And if it is, we are figuring out how to deal with it. So even when there aren't necessarily as many people with the title project manager in an organization, I would argue there is still a ton of project management happening.
I think that's absolutely true. And I think this is one of the things that sort of you kind of understand, but you kind of wish didn't happen. Whenever you're trying to change something, one of the things I recommend is that you come up with some new terms so people know that something's different. We're doing something different. And when project management was at its height in the 90s, that was the area of CMM and SEI and the Software Engineering Institute and the Capability Maturity Model and Capability Maturity Model integrated, all of which, at their core were really good things, but as they were being implemented, often had a lot of issues, particularly around, wow, look at all the documentation we have to create. Look at all the processes and rules we have to follow. And we can't change anything and blah, blah, blah. And project managers were tied to that world. In fact, they swam and drank and had a good time in that world. So when Agile came along, even though they have to do that kind of work, right? How do I organize? How do I want to structure these communications? How do I plan in a rolling wave? All this kind of stuff. They said, well, if we call it a project manager, we'll have all these people carrying over from the SEI, CMM days and thinking, oh, I know what I need to do, and start applying what they used to do into this new world. Sometimes it's easier to give it a new name. We're going to call the team level abstraction Scrum Master. Right? And we're going to help the team have a lot more say in that, but the Scrum Master is going to try to hold them accountable, sort of guide them, coach them, mentor them, which is what a good project manager should have been doing before, right? Trying to help guide, coach, and not try to act like a dictator of, I know everything and you're a bunch of idiots, just do what I say. So giving it a different name, yeah, I understand, but it's caused, I think, a lot of confusion and some suffering downstream when we say, yeah, the work needs to be done. What I call the person, I really don't care to a certain degree, but the work needs to get done, and who's going to do this work at the different levels?
Well, I will have to say, one of the things I saw pretty uniform